You're listening to the Oracle Talk Radio Network.
Hello, I'm Sabrina Carpenter.
I'm Dasha.
Hey, I'm Billie Eilish.
What's up, guys? I'm Camila Cabello.
Hey, this is Tate McRae.
I love this station.
I love this station.
You're listening to Chasing Prophecy Radio, where we discuss anything and everything beyond the scope of normal. On the Oracle Talk Radio Network. Broadcasting live in Pittsburgh and Philadelphia.
If it's unexplainable, we're talking about it.
Whether you're a believer or a skeptic,
we cover everything where the unknown becomes the known.
And now, here are your hosts, Jennie Nicasio and Tom Callway.
Welcome to Chasing Prophecy, where we discuss anything and everything beyond the scope of normal. I'm Jennie Nicasio, along with my co-host, Tom Callway, broadcasting live from Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. It's so great to be here. Happy New Year to everyone.
Yes. Baby New Year came, Jenny.
Yeah, Baby New Year came.
Especially for you. You had another guest, didn't you? I saw Facebook.
Another guest?
Yeah. Or
I have
a welcomed edition, I should say.
Oh, I have a new grandbaby, Gabriel. He's a sweetheart. Yeah, I'm so happy about it. It was a great New Year. Was it December 30th, I believe? He came
just
in
time, huh?
Just in time for the new year. Yeah, it was a happy night. It's a happy, well, I wouldn't say it's a happy night everywhere. There's a lot of strange stuff going on between, oh my God, the bombing in Vegas. The car that plowed into all those poor people in New Orleans.
Yes.
And we have the drones and we have the mysterious fog. So it's going to be quite, I think this year came in with a bang, and we have an interesting show tonight, huh?
Absolutely we do. And I couldn't have thought of a better person, honestly, to talk to this all about. I've gotten to know Dave a little bit here doing the network, Jenny, and getting shows and stuff for that. But him and I kind of hit it off because we kind of see things in a similar light. We've come from a little bit similar backgrounds. Our interests are the same, and all of that. And hey, Joe, what's going on? Good to see you. But somebody who I fact checked, and I love that picture of him. Somebody who I fact check, and he's actually right. And you know how important that is, Jenny, in this world of just what you say is true. And he's just a great addition to the network, and everybody here who tunes in is going to have a great evening with him, because this is somebody who is informed. And one of the few experts, Jenny, that we actually have on here, talking to. So it's
going to be an interesting evening. I mean, there's so much going on. I mean, with this, I caught a drone the other night above my skylight in my bathroom.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a real hot spot in there.
It is. So, and I'm going to give you an applause, because you did the right thing. You saw the mysterious light in the sky, and you first went to the radar to see if there's any confirmed planes in the area. You went there first, you checked it, there was nothing. And you even sent me the screenshot. I can confirm too. There was nothing in the sky near where her house was. Yet you see this, going around right outside of her skylight, waving hi down to Jenny in the house.
He probably wrecked after that.
Yeah. No, Joe, it's true. It's true. She. Oh, sorry about that. But
I should probably send it to myself and put it on the screen tonight before the end of the night. I'm not really good at sending myself. What do you do? Send it. How would I send that? Because he doesn't like me. Gmail doesn't like me because I have too many files I need to delete. I don't buy all those, whatever you call it.
Why don't you just Facebook message yourself then if the email's not working?
Oh, that's right. I could do that, huh?
Yeah, that's a good way to do it. But again, such our thoughts go out to the people in just trying to have a good time, and in New Orleans, and they have to deal with that mess, and as wonderful as TikTok can be very raw. And there was some videos circulating out there. I don't know if anyone ever, got to look at, some of the damage caused. It wasn't very pretty. So, watch at your own will is what how I'll approach that one.
Most definitely watch at your own will.
Yeah, but I got I'm going to do a little bio here for Dave,
Yeah.
Jenny, before we bring him on. So Dave Emmons is a fellow Oracle Talk Radio Network show host. He hosts the show Strange Reality, which is Wednesdays at 9 p.m., on which he interviews everybody from scientists to experiencers and UFO and ET topics, discusses ancient history, angels, cryptids, biblical history. We do have good biblical conversation too. Almost everything supernatural. A combat veteran, author of multiple books, including a duology on extraterrestrial subjects called Aliens Unearthed. And his most recent publication is a paranormal romance novel called We Were Supposed to Meet. So everyone...
Damn, I'm going to have to read that.
Yeah, it's a good look. It covers everything. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Dave to our show. Dave, good to see you. How's it over there?
Hi, Tom. How you guys doing? You sound like you're doing great. The grandbaby with you. Yeah. So that's something else there. But no, that's it's been a wild 4 years, let's say, but it's actually been now. Things are happening that we wouldn't have believed 4 years ago.
You're right.
We now all this terrorism, and we got these serial shooters and things going on. And that's a result of our politics and our laws and people who are in charge, the DAs and the governors and all these mayors that are allowing this crime to go rampant. And I heard if you let a small crime go, like even a small, felony, $150 stealing something from the store, if you let that go, then the bigger criminals, the ones that really do the crime, they see that as a weakness and they go hog wild on. So but I guess we're here to talk about the UFOs and what's going on with the drones. I don't like calling them drones, Tom and Jenny. I don't.
What would you call them?
What do you call them?
Okay, I'm calling them UFOs, and I think that's what they should be calling them, because the drones, they actually, if you see these plasmoids, they come up and then they can morph into something else. They actually have video. I've seen several of them, and I'm pretty sure they're legit, because the people that were doing the camera work were really, the way they were talking, they were scared and they was excited, and they saw these plasmoids just morph into a helicopter, and they can morph into a drone, and those drones are coming from the ocean. Let's face it, the Pentagon and the White House says, "Oh, you had nothing to be worried about." They're not.
Of course, they're going to say that. That's all they say.
They're not our enemy. They're not Russia or China, and we don't have any reason to take them down. They're not doing any harm, and then they're afraid to do anything about it. And last week there was a senator who come out, Jamie Foxx interviewed.
Jamie Foxx.
Did you see that interview?
Yeah.
He interviewed one of the senators who come out of the Armed Services security meeting, and it was a secret meeting, or they get in their little rooms there, skiffs they call them, and he come out, and it's funny that he picked Jamie Foxx to do the interview. That's a weird thing. Because these senators can pick anybody they want when they come out of those meetings. Any journalist will take them. But he picked Jamie Foxx, and he picked him because Jamie Foxx is a UFO expert. He's a documentarist. He's a movie maker. He's been in UFOs for 25 years. So, but this guy, he asked him, he said, "What did you guys talk about?" And he says, "Well, I can't really tell you exactly what we talked about." And he says, who was talking? He said, "I can't tell you that, but there's two of them representing, the Senate committee there." And he said, what they said was very scary, very scary. And I said, I thought to myself, why? Well, and Jamie Foxx looked at him. He said, "Yeah, you look a little afraid." He said, "Were all the people in there afraid, all the senators?" He said, "Yes. We all walked out the door with our heads down, scared." And he says, "I won't be able to sleep for a while." Now, what does that tell you? They're not that afraid of Russia and China because we've been pounding our chest at both of them for a long time. So that wouldn't have bothered those senators. It had to have been something strange and unusual that got to these people. And what it is, that's UFOs. Okay, I admit, I said something earlier, Tom and Jenny, that they're not drones. We do have drones up there, but what we're doing is checking them out. We're trying to check them out. Actually, a couple of them got knocked down out of the air too. So, but they're checking them out with drones, and also you'll see helicopters come in when you see these orbs, showing up. The helicopters will come in, and so will the jets. And some of the videos I see, I'm not really sure if they could really be credible or not, but it shows jets chasing these orbs. I don't know if that's credible. Sometimes what you see on TikTok or on the internet, you don't know if you can believe them or not.
That's true.
I was listening to Stephen Greer, who he says that they are not ETs. He said he's convinced that they are our own military what do you call it? Reverse engineering from 70 years ago. So what do you feel about that?
Well, I know a little bit about Stephen Greer. I've heard some.
He's
this
talking
and that.
about.
But I've heard that he plays both sides of the fence, and he actually has worked with the CIA, I think, in this UFO capacity. And what he was saying, I heard what he said in an interview, and I didn't really like it because he's got the CE5. I mean, he's got people paying money to go out and meditate and bring these UFOs in and ETs.
That's true too.
And then he says they're not ETs. I mean, he works with them all the time. He actually admitted seeing them and meeting.
Yeah, it's like you don't know who to believe, Dave. We don't know who to believe. Like, what is real? What is credible? What is false? What is true? I'm so confused right now because you hear so many different aspects of it. Everybody else's views and opinions and 2 cents, and you don't know who to believe. And I guess we won't know until we actually have contact with these things.
Yeah, I think they offered Dr. Greer a lot of money to work for the government with UFOs and UAPs, and he didn't take it because he's making money anyway. But to get off of him, I don't really believe him that much. He's nice. He plays both sides of the coin. But let's do a logical deduction, common sense, with these drones or UAPs or plasmoids. Number one, they say they come out of the ocean, and they have seen them. The Coast Guard has seen them. They've taken videos of them coming up out of the water, and they said there was 50 of them that come up out of the water and followed, and about 18 or 19 of them followed this vessel, this Coast Guard cutter. So these people that are in charge are saying that that's what they saw, and you have to kind of believe the military when they're saying that. But they're in water. Our drones don't operate from water. We have land bases for our drones. And I know China and Russia is not ahead of us in scientific technology. They are not. And I don't care what people say, they're not. And I've heard a lot of people that's in the Pentagon saying, no, they're not. It's going to take China an additional 7 or 8 years to catch up with us where we're at now. But this is not. And also, they can't trace them. There's no heat tracing. There is no frequency tracing.
No.
We have frequency guns. They're big old bulky looking guns that they shoot at them, and they can bring drones down. Our drones or enemy drones. They can bring them down because they interrupt the frequency of the person who's controlling it. Yep. So if they can't, and they've tried at a couple of air bases to bring these drones down with those weapons, they cannot do it because they cannot track the frequencies or the heat generation. And so it tells me they come out of water, they have no tracking, they can't really track them. They turn their lights off, they disappear. They don't show up on radar. What does that tell you? That tells you that it's not something that we have. Yeah, that's my deduction on that.
Yeah, I mean, listen, when you have all of those factors going in there, the radar, the heat signatures, the frequency, it just means that they're operating at a different or a higher, technological space than what we can do.
Right.
I've heard people also, say that there was a fear for a while that, that Russia and China were at where we are, and now, and it finally came out that, they're not. They're
Yeah.
not. You know what I mean? They simply aren't. So you have to look at what's next. What other thing could it be? It's not going to be somebody who is below you, obviously. It has to be something that is at a higher technological rate or advancing at a higher technological rate than what we are.
Right.
And we've had guests on here who claim, and I believe them, that there are military bases in the oceans, or not military, I'm sorry, UFO bases in
UFO
the ocean,
bases.
UAP bases in the ocean. Well, they don't have to travel very far. These drones are taking a walk in the backyard, basically.
Right.
They don't need much.
Actually, the Pentagon said that they have UFO bases under the ocean, out in California, and then out across from New York, where they're
wait till that gets FOIA'd.
yeah. But I
I've heard
think
that.
they don't want us to know, because there's still a lot of people, unlike you, Jenny and Tom and myself, that I've seen up close UFOs. I met ETs. I know all about this stuff. Years ago, I knew about it when I was only 13 years of age. So what I'm saying is, there's a lot of people out there who don't believe and don't want to believe, and a lot of them are like religious people. That's going to hurt them, because it's going to. We talked about biblical history a while ago, that I do cover that, and I might be co-writing a book in that, and I hope I do with this one gentleman.
Yeah, I'd love to read it.
Yeah, but it's going to be a big project, and it's going to make a lot more money than my UFO books are. But it's not the money I'm after. But I'll tell you what, you put enough time into this business, you got to have some reward.
Most definitely.
You're preaching to the choir with that one here. Two carving artists.
but
really.
But that's what they're afraid of. And let me tell you, I think here's my thoughts, and you guys can remember this on this drone thing. Or I don't like saying drone, but everybody knows them as drones. What they're doing is the ETs are disclosing to us slowly. What would they do? I mean, if they come down and landed, that would scare the crap out of people. Okay? So what they're doing, so now what they're doing is flying around, showing us what they got, and let people see them at a distance, and flying around, and that way they get used to it. They said this is the strategy that they're going to use, the ETs, and they're going to be doing this for some time. They're not going to let up for a while, and until the government discloses. And then the ETs might start working with us. But right now they're a little afraid, because they think about more than 50-60% of the people will start jumping off buildings if they find this out.
I hope not.
That's funny you say that. Jenny, you've mentioned the same thing. It seems like a desensitization.
Yeah.
They're desensitizing us to do this. Jenny's been saying that for months now. So you're saying right here that they're trying to force the government's hand.
Right. In a way, they're doing that. And also, I heard there's some people talking, and even Stephen Greer talked this, and Jamie Foxx, and on Grogan's show, they talk about that we had a pact with these ETs back in the 50s with General Eisenhower, President Eisenhower at the time, and we allowed them to experiment on us, abductees and stuff like that. That we allowed them to do that for exchange of technology. Now they say that little contract is kind of running low and running out. They look at our world. The ETs are watching everything we do. Matter of fact, they're walking amongst us. They work with us. They're humanoids. I got a picture of a humanoid in my book that I was with in Sedona in 2010. And I met several other humanoids that were ET humanoids, I should say. And they're here with us. They're working in the White House. I don't know if you guys saw this one time. I think it was a senator. What is it? Not Manchin. It was I think it was the speaker, the Senate speaker. The what's this guy's name? He's an old guy. He's going to retire. Mitch McConnell. Is that? Yeah. Okay. There was a video. I'll never get over this, and they played it several times on the internet, more than several times. He was standing there speaking, and then behind him was Senator Thune. Senator Thune acted like he knew what was going on. Out steps a woman, looked like she's about 60 in her early 60s, and she must have been, staff or something. She comes up and hits him with something on his arm, and McConnell. And when she did, he just froze. He couldn't talk no more. And Thune looked over at her and smiled, and I thought, what's going on? Does he have a chip in him? And she kind of killed that chip.
Yeah,
it's very unusual. So what I'm saying is they do work amongst us. They walk amongst us. That's what Dr. David Jacobs says, and a lot of the experts say that they're here with us already.
Well, you know what, Dave? When I seen this drone earlier in the night, I was with my son, and he goes, "Mom, you can communicate with them telepathically and tell them to come so you could see them." Mm-hmm. So that's what I did. And a few hours later, that's when I saw the drone above my skylight. And I have it if you want to see it. I found it. And I can share the screen. I can figure out. Here it is right here. Can you see how big is that? Is that big enough?
Good. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. How do you hit? You see it?
Through the skylight?
Yeah. Like I see a blinking light. Yes. There it is.
And that was pretty cool.
There's 2 of them, 3 of them.
And there was no, and I screenshotted there's no airplanes. And I'll show you that too if you want to see that. And this is for real. It was so crazy because I was telling Tom, I'm like, I sent that to you pretty late, huh? It was pretty late in the evening. Was it like 11:30?
Yeah, see, I'm a late, I'm up anyway. You're an early riser, so I was surprised you were awake.
Yeah. Lately, I haven't been sleeping well. That's probably because. Yeah.
But how amazing is it, Dave? That look, that's a skylight. You know what a skylight is. Everybody knows the dimensions of a skylight. Mm-hmm. It's right above hers for her to see it, and. She sent the screenshot. There's nothing, and I mean nothing. It's late at night. Air traffic routes to Pittsburgh either don't go over that area or they're done for their day. You know what I mean? In their flights. But it's just, the only place you could look through her roof without going outside, it was there. Right.
That's another thing. You said that they only do it at night. And a lot of drone operators, commercial and recreational drone operators, they only do it during the daytime because the cameras and stuff only work during the daytime. Here's another thing about some of these things that I noticed that makes a big difference. These drones, or whatever they're calling them, they can last 7 or 8 hours. Our drones can only last 30 minutes to an hour at the most, on battery power. So there's another discrepancy in their thinking. I just think that they're trying to desensitize us. That's a great word. I'll let them use that. I like that. They are desensitizing us, and the ones that are going to be hard to accept this. It's going to be rough, and a lot of ETs, they know this. I saw a picture last week I think it was in Instagram or TikTok, of this guy in Colorado. He was right underneath a drone. It passed right over him. And he said that was the second one that passed over him within 3 months or so. And he said this one passed right over him. And he went in the house and he looked at his arm. He had holes in his arm. They went straight across his arm. Oh, and wow. Guess what? I've been wanting to find the author of this. I can't find him. I got to look him up, I guess. But I've got pictures of my legs with the same holes that he's got in his arm.
What do you mean by holes?
They're like little holes that look like they're little drilled holes. They're about a quarter of an inch apart, and he's got about 9 of them across his arm. And they look
like into your skin.
Yeah. Well, you take it. Okay, let's take it this way. This is kind of crude, but take a little ice pick and just stick.
Oh.
Okay. And they turn red. Okay. They don't bleed, but they're reddish looking. Because it went under the skin. And his looked the same way as mine. I got 3 examples of my left leg. The last one was a year and a half ago. I had 3 rolls of those holes on my left leg. The doctors didn't know what they were. So it tells me it's the same ET species that did this to me a year and a half ago that did it to him just here recently. The same holes and the same experimental, I guess, marks they leave on you.
Yeah, I mean, so it's almost like a stamped, impression that went into your skin at the same time or same width. Had
Right.
to have been from an instrument at that point.
Yes,
Then
yes.
it's not freehand, at all. It had to be
And
from an instrument.
no cuts or no scratches in between, just clear holes, right across the arm
Did
and
you
right
up?
across my leg.
Did you ever hear of like on the wrist, like a burn mark?
Yeah.
Like a little
Yeah.
on both wrists, like little mark, like a burn.
Burn mark?
Yeah, it looks like someone burnt. You burn yourself like in a stove, but
Oh
there'd
yeah,
be
yeah.
like a line on
Mhm.
both wrists. Did you
What
ever
do you
hear
know about
anything
that
like
one,
that?
Dave?
I heard there's all kinds of markers they use. They use triangles, they use circles, and they might burn your skin to get a DNA, a sample of it. I see scoop marks. The scoop marks are a little bigger than these holes. Yeah, Smiley. Yeah, she's my friend on Facebook, and those scoop
Hello,
marks.
Smiley.
Yeah, and also the scoop marks are a little bigger. And people have them on them. They almost look like a chicken pox, vaccine, or one that leaves a little mark on you.
Yeah,
It kind of looks like that. These are little holes that they seem like they drill into you. And I had about 11 of them on my leg. They were three lines of them, and they burned and itched for a while. And his is going to do the same thing. But I'd love to get a hold of him because whoever got him got me a year and a half ago. See, these are the same ETs, and they use different methods, different ET races. But this method with the holes, I just started noticing it. Well, actually, when I was in Alaska, I got 6 holes put in my legs.
Oh my God!
Yeah, and those are 2, 2, 2 like that. But these were like 11 across, and his is about 9 across. So those are, and when you see that, when you see somebody else having the same thing that you have, you say, this is real. This turns out to be evidence.
That's horrifying.
Oh my God, Jenny, can you imagine? You wake up and you're all marked up the next day, like you went through an exam. Jesus. Well, what about have you heard about on the wrist, like what Smiley asked, on the wrist or ankle, back of the neck, and nosebleeds, anything like that?
I've heard of nosebleeds. I've never had nosebleeds, but I've heard of people who have. And on the wrist, yes, they've had little circles and little triangles on it. They leave those kind of marks, but also they leave little holes, smaller holes than what this guy and I had. They're just little holes, punched around. And what they're doing, and I was told by somebody I think worked with the CIA, I think he knew. He told me that was Black Ops that's doing that too. They back engineered abductions. The Black Ops.
I've heard that too.
Yeah.
Jenny and I have talked about that on the show.
Right.
Yeah. You know what? You don't know. I mean, I'm an X-Files person. I mean, I've seen the episode where it was our government doing these abductions.
Yeah, but it's really not, because I've been hit with energy, and I just had my car hit with energy 3 weeks ago.
Jesus.
And I knew that they were around. Now in Southern Illinois, we don't have that many flying around, but they are here. We've seen UFOs here. This is where I've seen all my UFOs, not out west. And what happened to my car one night, about 5:30, my wife was in the Philippines. I didn't go because I didn't like that 13-hour flight with, I got 12
I don't blame
screws.
you with that.
I wouldn't like it either.
Yeah, I got 12 screws in my back, and I couldn't walk after the 13-hour flight. But she said, you don't have to go. She said, I'll come back early. So she come back early. But I got out in my car. It was about 5:30 in the evening, and I started it up, and the car went crazy. The lights on the mirrors, that shows, a close driver on the mirrors, they were flashing, going crazy. And my dash was going crazy. It said, fix this, maintain this, just popping up. And the screwiest thing, well, the brake light was on, emergency brake light was on, and my emergency brake wasn't on. And and actually the thing that really sent me buzzing about all this was my speedometer needle was just going like this. It was going crazy. And I knew it was energy. I was being hit with energy. But also a voice told me, drive the car, you'll be okay. So I drove the car to my destination. 10 minutes later, I got there. Actually, the transmission was a little hard clutching. It's an automatic, but the transmission clutch was clutching hard. And also the brake was a full brake pedal. I didn't, I said, wow, they give me full brake pedal. I'd have a good brake pedal. I got good brakes, but I got to the destination and it stopped, just like the voice told me. The car stopped, it normalized, and when I went back out 30, 40 minutes later, I started the car, no issues, nothing. It was all gone. And if there was car problems or if the brain box had a problem, it would remain a problem. I'd have to fix it. But the car was clear. It was just amazing. So I get messed with quite a bit, and my wife knows it. She talks about it. She'll hear something in the house, and she'll say, "Your buddies are here." She knows. She calls them my buddies, and I said, "Yeah, they're my buddies." They were in our house. 3 nights ago.
In your house?
Yeah. There's because what happened was that my ears. It was about 2:45. My ears were ringing real loud, and I had cricket sounds in it. And I knew. I said, "Oh, they're here. They're close." And that's why I woke up. Matter of fact, my wife, she got up when I did, and she said she hears crickets and ringing in her ears. And I said, "Honey, I think they've been here, or they're here now watching us. They can be invisible. ETs can be invisible when they come in your house, walk through your walls and everything. But I said they could be here now." And something happened to her right after that. I don't want to go into detail, but it fired up her hormones, in which never has been done at 3:00 in the morning. And so I thought there was something a little different about that whole episode. That was just 3 or 4 nights ago. So I know they're keeping in contact with me. I get pictures of them every once in a while in my house. I got an infrared trail cam that I get pictures of. And back in 2020 and 2021, I got several pictures of actual ETs in my house. And
you got to come back with those.
You're gonna have to teach me how to do the uploading on this.
I will hop on the computer, your computer, and do it for you if you have that.
I've got those holes. I got those holes from that other gentleman, and the holes in my legs too to compare. I got two pictures of them together. They're in email right now. So but yeah, I've got a lot of pictures and things of that nature, and I always put that humanoid ET in my book because, and I haven't put her in the latest books. I might before long again because I got 9 pictures of her, and she was weird. The whole thing. That was one of the most, I guess, exciting things. I guess you want me to talk a little bit about my book, or?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever.
By all means.
Yeah.
Okay. It's this book right here.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the book that I got her. I got a picture of her in there. I might be able to show you if I can get. Yeah, I should have had it pinpointed. I got
how that picture went through your head into your background.
They're here now. They're here. Okay, now
tell them to hop on. Jenny and I got questions.
Right there she is. That's her in Sedona, 2010.
And that's your humanoid?
Yeah, she was the humanoid ET I ran into, and I actually had a guide. She was an Indian guide out of Springfield, Illinois. Told me that I'd run into an ET in Sedona, and she said I was going on vacation. I said, "How'd you know I was going on vacation?" She said the guides told me. She is for real. She's not. When I said she was a psychic, she got mad. She said her angel guides tell her she got Indian blood in her. And then she told me, she said, "You're going to have to damage your car and you'll make it." And the car damage was hail, but I was able to make it and go visit my friends. So she knew all this. And I said, "They won't be my first ET I met," I told her, and her name was Cheryl. I said, "It won't be my first ET." I said, "But I'm glad you told me." And she said, "You're going to see her." I said, "It's her." She goes, "Yeah." She said, "There's actually 2 women. There's another woman who's blonde.
Is that the one behind you?
Yeah, Palladian. Yeah. And she said there's a blonde that's been looking for me. But she said, "You're going to meet this one 9 days." And it was 9 days exactly, October 4th in Sedona, that I went into the Cathedral Rock, and I started, taking movies out of my Sony cam. And here drives in behind me a little white car. Nobody was there because it's kind of rainy and cool. And when it gets rainy in Sedona, it's not pretty. And I've been there several times. So I turned around to her, and she come up to me like a little puppy with her arms folded in front of her. And I said, what's your name? She goes, Hiroko. And I told her my name. And I said, are you here to hike? I said, it looks like it's going to rain. And she goes, no. I said, you waiting for somebody? No. And this is what she said right there. That's why the name of the book, We Were Supposed to Meet.
She said we were supposed to meet to you?
That's where I got the title. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. She said, we were supposed to meet. And I said, do you know me? She goes, yes. I said, I don't know you. She said, but I do know you. I said, wow, okay. So we got in the car and we chatted for about an hour and a half or so. And she knew 20 languages, but she didn't know how to read English. She can speak it, but she couldn't read it. So she had me read a little statement off I give her a little neck chain, a little, I guess, a crystal and a chain. I said, you got to have something here from Sedona. So I give it to her because I went and bought a bunch of stuff at the gift shop. So I give her that. And she looked at it and I said, that'll give you power. And she looks at me and she looks at this thing. She said, power. Like she already had it,
Yeah.
But she was trying to, I guess, get my emotions. They try to solicit your emotions because they don't know much about human emotions. That's how they learn. They learn human emotions by asking you questions. And she started crying about her mom and dad. She said, in Tokyo. And I said, I put my hand on top of her hand. I said, that's okay, Hiroko. I said, and then felt her hand. It was above fever pitch. Her hand was very hot. If she was human, she would have been dead. I pulled my hand away and I said, Hiroko, you're burning hot. And I said, you just have a little thin sweater. She had no makeup. And this is where the ladies will come in on this. She had no makeup, no jewelry, no watch, no cell phone, no purse, just like the blue jean slacks and a tank top and a little thin sweater. And she had a mud splash on her left leg of her pants. And I thought, she's strange. So I kept talking to her. I was making notes in my head, and here pulls in next to me, just a parking spot over from me, a young guy, looked like he was in his mid-20s, and he had a headset on. And he didn't look at me at all. He never looked at me one time. And I found that strange because usually dimensional entities won't look at you in the face when you run into them. But he didn't look me in the face because I think, was NSA. Because when I got back, that was later, but they tore my computer up. But but he would pull in and out 3 times by the time we were there for an hour and a half. I asked her, I said, do you know him? And she looks at me. She has some really piercing dark eyes. And if I upset her, she would look at me and I just couldn't look at her in the face. It was just like an energy that was coming from her. And I said, are you an angel or something? And she goes, no. And I said, well, I was here for UFOs. I said, you know anything about them? She goes, no. And I asked her, here's the Freudian slip that she had, in which really told me in a verbal way that she was ET. I asked her, how old are you? I told her how old I was. And she looks at me. She just looked me right in the face, and her eyes were just glaring. And she says, you humans don't get it. She said, there is no time. There is no age. And then she stopped, like she knew she said something wrong. and I looked at her and I said, yeah, you said something wrong. I'm gonna go back to my lodge room and I'm gonna make these notes. That's what I was doing. I went back later on and made notes, but I was a little afraid of this guy because I thought it was a setup. You know, the girl goes in first, she's the baby.
Oh, yeah.
Then the guy comes in with a gun or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at my console. I had a license to carry a gun. I still do.
Mm-hmm.
And I even had a license from Pennsylvania for a while, and they stopped it, I think. But I got one from Florida. I got one from Illinois. So I went to look. Started looking at my console. She knew what was in that console. I was going to grab my gun because I was getting a little afraid. This was a setup. But she kind of looked at me like, calm down. She kind of eased me. She eased me down with her energy.
Yeah.
But I ended up taking, to make a long story short, that's the biggest story in my book. That's why I'm bringing that up. But when she asked a bunch of questions about, her family, I said, okay, you said and here's the dumb kicker. I didn't get until later that night, and then I had a regress dream several weeks later. I found out why she said that. She says, I have to have a baby. I said, do you have a boyfriend or a husband? She goes, no. She said, my boyfriend's mean to me, you know. And I said, oh, that's bad. How you can have a baby? I said, you got to get married. I said, she goes, I just have to have a baby. And it was weird that she kept saying that. And like, it's also, we were supposed to meet, and she told me she liked me. And I thought, okay, the next day we met, you know, for breakfast, and she showed up a little late, but I knew she was going to be there because telepathically she was telling me she was coming. So I waited, you know, for 15, 20 minutes. So she showed up and I ordered food for her. She didn't know much about food. She didn't eat much. And I ate mine, and she looked around at all the people in the waiting room. It's only about 12 people, something like that. And it was a gift shop too, plenty of room. And she says, all these people, and she just kept looking around. And if she's from Tokyo, you got 1,000 people per block in Tokyo walking around. You know, I so many things that she was just letting out. But we went around visiting the buttes and everything, and then she didn't drink any water. I gave her water. And then when she got outside, I got a picture of her arms out and listening to the breeze and the sound of the breeze coming. She said, do you hear that? I said, yes. It was like she doesn't see that too often, you know. So she must be in an underground base somewhere. But then she said she went to White Sands, New Mexico. I said, why would a single woman go to White Sands, New Mexico? And she said, I wanted to go see the sand. I said, yeah, okay. All right, you know, but we parted. I got 9 pictures of it. I was surprised I was able to get those 9 pictures, and you know, in various positions, you know, places. But she told me to send her those pictures. She said it's important that you send those pictures. She gave me an email, and I give her my email, and I give her my name, and I give her my phone number, but I didn't give her my address. This is key to what's going to happen later. My address was not on that card. Yeah, it was kind of like a business card, like, you know, Dave Emmons' phone number, and then it has my email. I give her that. I said, if you get an email from that, I'll send you the pictures. So what I did is send them slowly, 2 at a time, because I kept writing her and talking to her. But when she sent them back, it looked like 3 different people wrote 6 different emails, and they were kind of written differently, and you know, some of the wording was not the same. It's because she said she couldn't write, so she had a caretaker. They say that these ETs, humanoid ETs, are hybrids. What they have a handler. They have a human handler who helps them out. They have security, in which that was NSA guy, the young guy, and you know, then there's themselves. But there's 3 involved in this whole thing, and I knew after I left her that I had about 3 pages of, you know, yellow legal notes, and I took those home with me. But here's the kicker on this, the reason why I put her picture in my book. 5 months later, she showed up at my house in Illinois. And this is, And my cousin and I, this is March 17th, it's St. Patty's Day. My cousin and I was sitting on my front porch with smoking cigars, which I don't anymore. But we were sitting there, and here walks these 3 people, 2 young guys, 15, 16, and then I recognized her. It was Hiroko. They was walking towards us. That was about 250 feet away. My cousin said, who are those? Are those Chinese? I said, no, they're Japanese. He said, do you know them? I said, I think I know the woman. I said, and then when they walked towards me, she turned around. She didn't want me to see her face. She had her back to me. So the 2 young guys come up, and they come up my driveway, and it was about 10 feet away from my cousin and I. They asked one question. Now, these young guys, they were tall. They didn't look like the typical Japanese. They had a bone structure that, you know, kind of looked European, whatever. Not the round face, but they were tall, and one was older than the other. I can tell, maybe a year or whatever. But they dressed in mod style, in teenage mod style, like they studied the stuff, and they dressed like that. They asked me one question: where's the new Walmart? And I told them, I said, right over that overpass, about a quarter of a mile. And that was it. I couldn't talk. My cousin couldn't talk. They dumbed us down. They hit us with some kind of magnetic energy that just dumbed us. All I could do was look. And I looked at him. My cousin, his eyes were down towards the floor, and his eyes were all glazed over. And he's a guy that talks. I mean, when he meets people, he talks. Oh my God, he can be rude. Some of the things he asks and says. So he was quiet, and I couldn't believe him being quiet. And I was quiet because I tried to ask him, is that Hiroko? Is that her? I couldn't say it. but they were reading my mind. They knew I was on to it. So this one must have went in my house. My door was just to the right of me. He went in my house. I didn't even realize. I didn't realize he went in. And then he picked up a little pleather case that I carried around notes in, not to get them wet from the rain. And he was going through them, and he's looking up at me with piercing black eyes. And I thought, wow, this is just like his mother. And so he picked the notes up, and he's looking at me. And then he took them back in. I didn't see him do it. And so they got back together, and then they started walking away from us. They walked across my road about 75 feet away. And then I start coming to. My cousin didn't start coming to until right after I did. He's not used to being dumbed down. I've been dumbed down before, so I'm immune to it almost. But he got up and he looked and he said those were ETs. Now here's a guy that's about as shallow as a dry creek bed when it comes to ETs and Bigfoot and cryptid and stuff like that. Yeah. He doesn't believe in anything. But the first words out of his mouth, he said, "These ETs are going to kill you, Dave." He said, "That's what they aren't they?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "Settle down, let's watch them." So they walked up and they met Hiroko. They walked up to the stop sign, and I said, "Let's watch them, see where they go." We could see down the highway and up the highway, 2-lane road. And we knew they didn't come in a car, any vehicle. And they stopped at the stop sign, and I told my cousin, "Let's watch." And right before our own very eyes, they just disappeared. They just zoomed me up, Scotty.
Yeah.
They were tractor beamed up to their ship. And I thought, and then he was scared to death. He was pale. He's stomping around. He said, "They're going to kill you. They're going to kill you. I'm getting out of here. I don't want any part of this." And he gets in the truck and he takes off. His wife asked me the next day, "What did you do to him?" I said, "I didn't do nothing." I said, "The ETs did." She said, "ETs?" That's ETs. I said, "It's confirmed now. They were ETs." That's why I know she was an ET. That's one of the biggest stories in the book. I got some other things.
That's a phenomenal story. What year did you say this was?
It was October 4th. It was around 7:00 in the evening, 2010.
2010. Okay. Yeah. So somebody in the chat just was wondering if they were able to maybe Google you, find an email address or find an actual address that way. But I guess, it wasn't as in depth as it is now.
Right. Well,
even back then, you just had an iPhone for 2 years back in 2010. Yeah. So,
well, if the NSA was helping them, they could locate me.
That's very true. What did you get in a feeling sense of those two extraterrestrials compared to her? Did you think she finally got her children, or do you think they were camouflaged and using her to try to find you?
Okay, this goes to a story in Arkansas convention, UFO convention, the following year in 2011. I walked by this gal, and she talks to, I guess, dolphins and everything like that. She's in tune with things, and she hollered for me, "Come over to her." They charge you for a reading. I said, "No, I don't need a reading." She said, "No." She said, "You don't." And she calls me over there, and she says, You've met an ET lately, haven't you?" I said, "Yeah." "How'd you know?" She said, "I can tell. I'm reading your energy." And I found out she was legit, with some of the information she had. And then I told her, I said, "Do you want to see her picture, the one I ran into?" I had to go to the room and get it. I'll come back later, and show it to you. "I don't need to see it." She said, "I'll describe her to you." And she described her to a T. And I said, "Wow." She said, "You're gonna be shocked." I said, "No, probably not." She said, "That's your daughter." That was my daughter that I ran into, yeah. And the two young boys, those were my grandsons.
Wow. I'm confused.
Yeah. Yeah, they're my grandsons. Because remember when she said she needed to have a baby? Yeah. I had a regressed dream. It was in my room, the lodge. And I actually went back the next following year and asked the manager if I can take pictures of the room. And then I put in my computer and I was studying the room. I was laying in the bed on the side closest to the bathroom. And I had an incident that night that I regressed. And I had my right knee in the air. And there was a little hose that went to my groin area. This is where they collect semen samples, okay? Mm-hmm. So I saw it and I tried to kick it away. and I hit the hose, but then I was knocked out. I don't remember nothing after that. So apparently they took DNA and they took the semen samples because she said she had to have a baby. And since she is my daughter, she wanted to, I guess, put the 3 DNAs together. You have a ET DNA, you have another source of DNA, and you have your DNA, and it's kind of split in between the 3 of them. But she said she had to have a baby, and I thought, well, that's what she was talking about. So that's what they did. But as the dream progressed, they got me up and they held my arms and they walked me back and forth in the room. And I was going to the patio doors, and then I'd walk back. And as I walked back, I saw 2 humanoid figures sitting at the little tables in these rooms. You see these little tables. And I thought, what's going on here? And then they had this light. It was about 6-7 inches long. It's really bright. They shined it in my eyes, and they bring it up, bring it down, and then they'd walk me somewhere and do it again. And it hurt my eyes. I turned my head, and they tried to make me, see the light. So I had that thought that, okay, that's how they were erasing my memory, but they didn't do a very good job because I regressed that memory and I got that back, and I kind of put 2 and 2 together. And I thought to myself, why did they have to walk me to do this? Well, if you lay down, you close your eyes. If you stand up, your eyes will be open. And that way it was an easier access to your eyes. So that's what I figured out. So, yeah.
Wow.
So that's how they erase your memory with light frequencies.
Didn't know that. Yeah, very interesting. Very, very interesting there. So, Dave, tell everybody where they can find you, all of your stuff. Tell them where, all of your information is and how to get a hold of you. And, thank you again.
Yeah. Well, my books are on Amazon, Kindle, and they're on Roku. They're on Google now. And I've got my new book that's just come out. I ordered some copies of it, and Amazon's behind right now. So they're printing it behind. Yeah, and so they'll have my books sent to me, I guess, probably next week sometime. But you can get a hold of my books on Amazon. I have Angels and Supernatural Entities, and I got They and Who Are They, and then a new one now, We Were Supposed to Meet. I got a war book out too, Senseless Wars, but it didn't seem like people were too interested in that. They got me stereotyped as an ET.
That might be it. Yeah.
Is the paranormal romance called The One We Were Supposed to Meet?
Yeah, We Were Supposed to Meet.
And
yes.
it's up on Amazon?
Yeah, it's on Amazon Kindle, and it's on Roku and Lulu.
I'll have to read it.
Yeah. It's about fighting the aliens underground, the evil reptilians, and then the elites, the cabal, and the powerful people in the world that's underground. And we've heard a lot about being kidnapped, or I don't talk about that subject here, but being kidnapped, taken underground. And so the Palladians are teaming up with the Earth Army, I call them, and they got my lead character, Kitchi. He's an Indian. He's a Cree Indian, and he's a tall, handsome guy, and she's a beautiful blonde woman, as you can see, and they get together, and they actually perform a little ceremony where they don't copulate like we do. What they do is they get together and they share their spiritual energy with each other. But actually they have a baby. Let's say it this way. They do have a baby in the book. And that I just put that together because I thought, well, I can put these 3 books together in sci-fi. And that's the idea. My next book will be more in depth about how I think why we're here, who put us here. And I think there's a lot of stories on that. The biblical text and everything that's involved in that. So I'm going that direction on that. But they can also hear me on the Strange Reality podcast show, and that's on Facebook. It's on Rumble, on YouTube, Spotify, LinkedIn, X, and so it's on all those platforms. But yeah.
All right. Well, thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Well, thank you guys for inviting me.
Absolutely.
We're going to have hopefully a long illustrious relationship here.
I hope so.
That's right. Yeah, for sure. Thank you for, everything and joining the network, and everybody out there, go research Dave, buy his books, and you'll be able to hear him on our network and through his own network. So thank you again, Dave. It was wonderful and a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me.
Take care.
Bye.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, it was very, very good guest. Very, a lot to, with his book and a lot of stories, and just really down to earth guy. I mean, Southern Illinois, you could get that from him just talking.
Namaste.
Namaste, Junior Amadeus Schiffer. Wow, great name. Great name, and everybody. So wonderful stuff.
Yeah.
Wonderful stuff.
It's interesting character. I wonder if he has pit. We should ask him if we could see the hybrid.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we'll get that information. He's let me hop on his computer, because he might not be the most tech savvy. So I can go and get them for him.
Swipe them.
Yeah.
Steal them.
Yeah, exactly. But no, he's in the know with people, and people just tell him stuff, and he won't ever say it, which is one thing I really respect. But the sources that he have, he won't say it on air, but the sources that he has are up there. I mean, we mentioned one of them. We mentioned one of them earlier. Authors, in that realm and everything. So it's just a fascinating guy and a welcomed addition to the network. We love people the same, who are on the same wavelength as us. I wonder if there's any gullibleness that people might take advantage of out there that meet him at these conventions. I don't know. Hopefully not, but I don't know. Who knows? Who knows, Jenny?
Yeah. What do you think that fog was?
So the fog to me, I should start by saying this. That I don't think it's real fog. I don't think it's real, natural fog. These drones can produce this sort of simulated fog. One thing that I thought of too is the more hazy, when it's a nice clear, like how's in your room, it's nice and clear. You can see everything, all of that light will go straight through. But when you have fog and you produce a synthetic fog, like how it seems to be with little balls and little, stuff flying around, you can almost cast things on that as a screen, and so it could be a test for Bluebeam as the screen aspect, because if you want to produce these images in air, you're going to need something the light reflects off of. That's what I was thinking. And the chemical smell that many people have reported, I've smelled it. I'm not sure if you've smelled it, but we've seen people.
No, we didn't get any fog. We didn't get any.
Okay.
I don't recall. I don't think we did.
A couple days after Christmas was the worst, and then it started to dissipate. But we could produce fog 100 years ago. Keep that in mind.
Yeah, I know. I saw that video.
Yeah.
Was it called Magic Dust or something?
Yeah, magic dust. Yeah.
Magic
dust. We could have done that 100 years ago, just like the video said, Jenny. What do you think we can do now?
Yeah, I know. But what is the purpose of them doing that? Like, why? Well, they're trying to poison us, or is it just something? Well, let's do it. Try it out and see if they know it.
I don't think it's that brazen, to be honest with you. I don't think it's like, hey, let's just poison them and kill them. And I don't think it's that. I think it's more of, let's do a bunch of other stuff while we have these drones. Let's do a bunch of other stuff and see if they pick up.
See if they can. I was listening to this crazy lady on TikTok. I mean, she was a total nut job. I think her name is Divine Magic with Magick. She's wearing a silly little thing on her head, like a headband.
Yeah.
There's another dude on TikTok that does that too, and he's bald. I'm sure you saw him before. But she's like saying she communicated with these these ETs and they're bringing light. She's such a fruit. I mean, I'm sorry. I should play it for you because she's such an. I totally think she's an nincompoop.
What's up, Ian?
Who else used nincompoop today? Was it Elon Musk?
Did he?
He called the guy that picked his car a nincompoop. So it must be popular.
It's definitely more in the South, Ian, to be honest with you. It's definitely more in the South, that fog. I mean, we didn't have it for that long, but I've seen, some Florida, some northern Florida, not really where you are, but Missouri as well, Ozark area, people are just reporting a ton of fog.
Well, people said they tasted blood in their mouth. I don't know. I think
that's just an iron thing. that doesn't. So when you taste blood, you're really tasting the iron. So there's other things that cause iron. You can have iron in the air. It doesn't mean it's blood in your mouth. You just have that taste of what it is. That's something that people, just because it is, it's not necessarily blood. But yeah, Jenny, that woman that you sent me and you were talking about that fruitcake nincompoop.
Yeah, look, let me just show you this. If you have time, go listen to her because she is a fruit. I mean,
well, that's
I'm not trying to be mean.
No, I know you're not. I know you're not. But we also have to call out the people who take what we do and make it seem odd.
Look, she says she's messages from the aliens. Okay, look at this thing she's wearing on her head. Is that supposed to make her like?
Plus the 12 district.
Like
it's branding. It's branding. It's making you stop and look at her video. That's what she's trying to do.
No, I did stop and look at her video, and I was like, "You're a nut." I don't know. I don't believe half the.
I get it, and this is what I said. I've been saying it as long as I've been doing not just this show, but the whole thing. We need to be more skeptical than the skeptics to these people out there because they give us a bad name. We're trying to do a show. We're entertaining people. We're talking about things that need to be talked about, especially now. We can't be looked at with a judgmental eye because people like that we're letting going around doing all kinds of crazy stuff and making us look bad on the other side. So we have to be that skeptical wall, Jenny. Basically.
Yeah, I believe something like Bashar. What do you think about his thing he just had the other day on? I think it was it New Year's Eve? He came out. It was like an hour or two, saying that he was talking about when we're gonna have contact. He said within the next 5 years. He said they're already doing this right now. A little bit, they're trickling in just to make us not scared. I still don't even know if I believe him.
No. There's something. Listen, I'm gonna put it this way. There's some things that that Daryl Anka does that transcends what Bashar. Some of the messages that he tells these people about living your life and being accepting, and all, some of them are great messages. He doesn't have to be right for that to be a good message. But one thing that he has pivoted to, and I don't know if you've known this, is that he only appears for a fee now. And he has a set of lists on his website that I looked because, believe it or not, I wanted to reach out to him and just have him on our show. Not Bashar, but Daryl. You know, I just wanted to talk about what his process is going through all of that. And he only does Zoom readings, like if we were doing this, and there's a list of questions you can't ask.
Really?
Like, you know, how should I help my if medical stuff. A lot of it is medical stuff. And, you know, it's, if you're doing a private thing and not a public thing, let them ask whatever they want. You know, it's basically just like you and me on the screen, Jenny. If it's just us and nobody's out there, we're just going to talk. You know what I mean? Just let them ask what they want. It's their body. It's their, you know, and they're paying you money for it and you're censoring them.
How much did he charge?
You can't even see that on the website. That you have to go through this whole step process.
You know, I just find it hard to believe that these people, they charge money. If they have, I communicate with aliens, so I'm going to charge you $250 an hour to talk to this alien. That's bullshit. And even these real high paying, what is this, Nerd Informer? What do you do?
Send them on the Nerd Informer. It'll be the shortest interview ever. Yeah.
No, seriously, even
We'll
these
do it, Ian.
psychics at high, like the Manhattan Medium and stuff, and
Long Island,
whatever they're
medium.
called.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
charge like thousands of dollars. I mean, come on. I mean, if you have a gift, okay, what if I really couldn't afford it? Would you do me a reading? I mean, I don't have any money, but I really need a reading. Would they do the reading? No, of course not. They just want money. I don't know.
Well, yeah.
I think if it's a gift, are you going to really charge people? I don't know. But then I hear people say, well, artists they have a gift and they charge for paintings, but
well, painting isn't going to tell you when you're going to die.
Who wants to know when they're going to die?
Oh, here's a hypothetical for you. Let me ask you this, Jenny. So there's a manila folder on the table. You walk into a room. It's just you, nobody else. Inside that folder is a piece of paper that says Jenny will die on this date.
I don't want to know.
You would not open it?
No.
What if it said tomorrow? When you want to
No, I don't want to know.
Okay.
I don't know. I just don't want to.
Yeah, Amadeus, you and me are on the iron side. Yes, it's exactly. Some people, you can taste iron out in the air if you're near a refinery. If you're, it doesn't mean it's blood in your mouth.
Iron? What are you
talking about? That like metallic taste. Like you say, you bit your lip.
Oh, yeah.
That's what you're tasting. The blood wouldn't have.
Oh, yeah. No, I think if the aliens are going to come down, they're going to kill us. They don't want to. They're not lovey-dovey. They don't want. Oh, let's save the Earth. They just want to kill us. They want our planet because theirs is probably dying. And they need to.
Did you
Star Trek movies.
Did you see? So January's Patreon episode for Beyond the Radar is going to be about the remote viewing Project Stargate Mars exercise from May 1984,
cool.
where
I want to learn how to do that.
Remote view?
Yeah.
It is.
I want to come in and see what you're doing down there in your little office.
Can you imagine if like a crazy ex-boyfriend or girlfriend knew how to do that?
No,
Can
God.
you imagine how nutty that would be? But anyway, they talk about Mars 1 million BC. I FOIA'd the declassified document and I reenacted the interview.
Cool.
So you'll hear a live interview of what actually was said.
Neat.
I went through the pages, so you didn't have to. That's that's Beyond the Radar direction for 2025. I'm going to FOIA documents. Yeah, I'm going to FOIA documents and Jenny, I'll send the actual recording before, I don't have the whole episode done, but I'll send that recording part to you. And just, it's like 11 minutes, 12 minutes. But it's pretty, they say some pretty weird stuff on there of, like tall, thin creatures on this planet, humanoids, and their planet's dying. Like Mars has been red for 1 million years. Like it wasn't like recently alive. It's been dead. It's been dead for a long time.
Yeah. And
they didn't go to Earth. They went to someplace far, far away. And stuff like that. So for anyone thinks we were colonized by Earth, there's a FOIA CIA document that says, no, they actually went way out of our galaxy to some other planet. It's their planet.
We just live as tenants. Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Could be it.
I've heard some things about because there is this thing, Jenny. I'm not trying to be on a soapbox, but there's this religious intersection with UFOs and aliens where it's not, one doesn't fit perfectly in each other's box. Both ways. You know what I mean? Both ways. And so I've heard people say that, the angels are protecting Earth from aliens that are demonic. You know what I mean? And they're trying to fit their arguments.
Yeah,
to be perfect.
That could be it.
And,
you hear about those plasmoids. They're saying those are angels.
Yes. And the angels are trying to keep Earth as what it's intended for, which is, an area of growth. You know what I mean? You want to be a good human and you want to go to heaven and you want to make the afterlife, or you're bad and you go to, all of that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's some aliens that work for those darker forces that try to tempt people on Earth, but they can't outright get in here. We have to invite them. And how do we invite them? We invite them through fear and through anger and through hatred and through all of that kind of stuff. So
doubts and envy.
Oh, absolutely. The 7
fear.
deadly sins. Many spiritual practitioners, the first, like, say you said, I wanted to be one of those. I want to be a remote viewer. The first thing they have you do is completely change your diet to all vegetables. Nothing,
I hate vegetables.
Well, I mean, I don't know if that's exactly what it is, but they want you to take out any processed food, only organic, only real things. You know what I mean? Like not made in a factory or a meat packing plant or something like that. They wanted all whole foods. They want you to stop drinking tap water, fluoride. They want you to be able to get the calcification off your pineal gland. There's a bunch of things that, through Beyond the Radar and talking to some psychics, mediums, all that kind, and spiritual guides and things like that. It's more of a physical thing at first before you can even get to the point of trying to communicate. So I don't know.
I've been trying. Well, Christmas, I was kind of screwed me up, but I'm back on carnivore.
How's that going?
Well, I did it for 3 weeks, and then Christmas came, and I got pulled into that. Come on, have some of this. Have some fried shrimp. Have some chocolate.
Well, how did you feel for those 3 weeks?
I felt great. Now I feel like crap. So
really?
I'm back on
so
it.
you felt
my pain levels out the roof.
Are you going to hop back on?
The first couple days after
I
cheated, I cried for 2 days.
It gave you a physical or it gave you an emotional response, right?
From cheating, I was horrible. So I'm back on it 100%. I'm not going off. I'm not people pulling me into that. I get peer pressures too much. So
we got to get you out of there. We're moving you in 2025.
I just got to quit being pulled into come on, have a piece of pizza.
Pizza would be hard. What was the hardest? What was the hardest thing to push off
at Christmas?
Yeah, 'cause you got sweets. You got
sweets, the sugar, the fried food, the bread. Like I didn't have bread per se. I had breaded stuff like
you said breaded shrimp or
calamari and stuff like that. And it was the candy, the chocolate. I love chocolate, so I can't have chocolate. I was gonna make all this, keto stuff, and I was too tired. I was gonna make my own fish, and I just couldn't handle it. Well, what happened on Christmas Eve? This is horrible. My son bought 12 pounds of calamari. Okay.
Wow.
12 pounds. Yeah.
Well, you're Italian, right? You did the Feast of the Seven Fishes.
Well, we didn't have 7. We had scallops. We had shrimp, calamari. I bought crab legs and they ended up in the garbage because no one ate them. Bad?
Oh, nobody.
Well, no, because no one. I thought them, but no one ate them, and I can't eat these. Well, anyways, my son's cleaning. He's a doctor. He's cleaning the calamari, and he smelled, Mom. They smell like ammonia, and I don't know that that's part of when it's rancid or something wrong with it. It gives off an ammonia smell.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
And I'm thinking, did they put Clorox? Did they clean the chemicals in when they were cleaning? And somehow they got, so he smelled more. He goes, it was so bad. He goes, these are spoiled. So we threw it all out.
12 pounds?
12 pounds. So he called around to the giant eagles. Finally, he found 2 giant eagles that had fresh ones right off the truck. So he went out. Thank God we decided to eat early. Otherwise, he wouldn't have anything. Yeah, they had them and he got them. Yeah, so he went out and we just sat around. We fried up the shrimp. The shrimp were fine.
Mm-hmm.
So we had because we got deep fryers this year.
Instead. Oh, how big?
Now, he got the deep fryers and it cut it in half. And I'm telling you what, next year I'm not doing. I said I'm going to get a skillet and I'm just going to put my food and I'm going without the breading.
Yeah.
And I had made pasta. I made the pasta seafood, but I didn't eat any of the. I didn't eat any of the the pasta.
The pasta, you just had the seafood.
I did. That was doing really good for that. And then I said, oh, "Shit, I'm hungry. I want to eat some goodies, like candy, like chocolate."
Yeah.
And, so I screwed up, and then from Christmas Eve on, I was eating the leftover goodies, and I'm saying, "Why am I doing this to myself?"
Mm.
And because really what did it was the alcohol. I had my son, He made me mudslide. Yesterday, he made me, what was it, yesterday? No, New Year's Eve. I asked him, how much alcohol did you put in there? He said 6 tablespoons of whiskey, the Kahlua.
Yeah,
6 tablespoons. Was he trying to kill me or what?
Yeah.
But we split it, but I could hardly walk to my bedroom. And
Is that the nights that they came by?
It was what was that, yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday. Was it yesterday?
Yeah.
It was Monday. Was it Monday? Because it was
Monday.
garbage night. Yeah, it was Monday. Yeah, so no, it was the alcohol, the sugar and the alcohol, the chocolate. And then yesterday I screwed up. I was doing really fun. I got pulled into it again. I had ham, but my son goes, let me try. Mom, why don't you try my sandwich I made with his bread? So I screwed up. So back on it today. Yesterday it was okay. I stayed on it pretty much yesterday. I think I had a couple things that weren't bad. But today I had eggs, leftover ham. That's probably not the best. A little bit of sauerkraut. I shouldn't have the sauerkraut. Just a little bit because they said that's probiotics or something. I don't know.
Yeah. It's made with vinegar, so
fermented stuff's supposed to be good for you.
it's supposed to
But
be,
right now I'm hungry, but I'm not eating. I'm gonna have I'm drinking my sparkling water.
There you
and then
go.
I'm gonna get up and have eggs tomorrow with my dog. Oh, my poor dog.
Oh.
Oh, the
Have you been
tumor's
playing
so
the music?
big. I didn't do it last night. The tumor's so freaking big. I never seen anything so big. I did get this other dewormer. I saw it on this veterinary guy, but I have to make sure it doesn't hurt German Shepherds. I'm going to switch her from ivermectin because ivermectin's not doing anything.
Mhm.
So I'm probably going to lose my dog this year.
No.
That sucks. Yeah. And I have
yeah.
there's a guy coming on. He wants to be on the show next week. I think he is a psychic medium who deals with animals. But he's talking about you communicate to your dog, your animals. So he might be on the show next week. But
Yeah,
I don't want to start crying and it'll be terrible.
No, well,
so I have to make you do all the talking because I'll be too emotional.
You just jump in when you can.
Yeah, it sucks when you're going to lose your dog out. I mean,
no, I know.
And I feel like I'm
11-year-old, right?
She's 11 and a half, but I feel like am I being a terrible pet owner for not taking it out? I mean, it's huge. It's like, it has to be as big. It's huge. It's hard. And am I a bad parent for not getting it taken out? And but I've told everybody. I read in Reddit and how my friends who did that, they regret it because they said it was horrible, painful for the dog. And I might as well just let her, nature take its course. I am going to get this new stuff. It's supposed to help with, it's mushrooms. It's supposed to help shrink tumors, cancerous tumors. So it just sucks. But then I had this before I let you go, before we go. I just want to tell you, I had a German Shepherd and I was thinking about Ava. Yeah. And then I was reminding myself of my German Shepherd when I was 16. I left the gate open and it got hit by a car. Oh. And in my, and I said that you because I was reading this guy, this guy, I was looking at his bio and he was doing, it was a TikTok video saying that you can communicate with your animals that are deceased. You just have to ask them and talk to them. So I said before I went to bed, I said, Caesar, I'm so sorry. Do you forgive me for leaving the gate open? Well, I had the weirdest dream that I was back in my old house. This is when I was a kid. Yeah. And it was a regular, what do you call them? Chain link fence with the silver, fence. The gray gate. And in my dream, I was back at the house and we had like 6 German Shepherds, but they were all on the gate, but the gate was white. And I seen a black figure open the gate. And it was like, I had this overwhelming feeling that my dog was telling me, Mom, like, you didn't leave the gate open. Yes. Somebody else did.
That's funny. I just thought that's the image I got, was to show you it wasn't you, don't
Yeah, it wasn't
take it on
me.
you. Yeah,
Yeah,
don't take it
it
out on
wasn't
yourself.
you. Somebody else intentionally left the gate open. And we had a lot of people that hated my dogs, when I was
Wow.
growing up. But it was
Yeah.
so but it was weird. It was a white gate. It was just white as white. And I seen the black.
Well,
Maybe it
white's
was because I
pure.
see the black figure, and I
Yeah.
seen the black figure. It was like a shadow leaving the gate and opening the gate. So I
Is it
said,
like leaving?
I didn't open the gate. Somebody
So,
else did.
so
Is that
here's how I
crazy?
took that. That's a phenomenal story. I took it as white, as pure, as
Yeah.
it's okay. It's nice. And then it's a black figure, and you didn't see actually who it was.
Yeah, I
Because
didn't
the
see who
dog
it was.
forgave. The dog, it doesn't matter. The dog forgave. So what does it matter to you who opened it? It just wasn't you. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
think that's what it was trying to tell you. But that was the same night you practiced what that guy was saying. That's a beautiful story. You got to hold on
Yeah,
to that
that's
one.
why I want to tell. That's why I thought I'd have him on the show, because
Yeah, we got to
I
tell
just
him
thought it
that.
was so weird. And it's like, my dog, Ava's, she's sitting on the bed with me. She sleeps. She wants to sleep on the bed, wants me to be
Yeah,
with her constantly.
that's
So
nice.
it was weird. She's on the bed, and I'm talking to her, and I'm talking to my old dog that died, when I was
Mhm.
16 years old. It was just weird. I go, and I told my son, I go, I didn't leave the gate open. Somebody else did. And I felt like this overwhelming feeling of, how, it wasn't me. Because I
Like weight off your
lived with
chest
that
type of
for,
thing?
Jesus Christ, Tom. I tortured myself for
Yeah.
years. He was my best friend. I got him as a puppy. I just loved him to death. Now, that was the most traumatic experience in my whole life. I think 16, when your dog and I can hear the thud of the car that hit her or hit him and took off. He took off. It was a hit
Oh,
and run.
wow. Oh, that's a
Yeah, it was
shame.
horrible. We took him to the animal hospital in Murraysville. It's still there, but I never seen anything so horrible. She was laying on a gurney, and he had an IV, and he was dying. Internal injuries. It broke my heart. Then I have
Mhm.
Ava on my bed with this huge freaking tumor. And I keep telling her, I said, Ava, you can go whenever you want. You don't have to stick around for me. It'd be nice if she did, but it's so big. How can they live like that with a huge tumor? I was like, it's so big. But I have to go see if I can figure out the dosage of this other stuff. I'm going to read the video.
If you
I'm
need
not
help,
very
send
good
me
at
the
math.
conversion, and I'll help you convert it.
Okay, because I'm really bad in math.
No, just send it over. Tell me what it needs to be converted to, pounds to, weight wise or calories.
Yeah,
Just let me know.
it's
I'm here to
just
help.
it sucks. It
It
sucks.
does.
I said, how am I going to go on without my baby?
Hey,
Hi,
Nicole,
Nicole.
happy New Year. I know, but they say dogs are only on this planet for so long because they already get it. They already get the unconditional love part.
Yeah,
And
whatever.
yeah.
I'll be all right. I'm always all right. I pull my bootstraps up and I move on. My son goes, Mom, you have all these grandbabies. I found out my other ones have it. I'm gonna have another grandbaby.
Wow.
It's like, but they're not the
wonderful.
same because they don't, I can't just bring them in bed with me. No fog here yet in California. Well, you're lucky because it's no, I wish we'd get some. I would like to look outside and see the fog. Oh, I can't drive in the fog. Oh, no.
No.
I scared the shit out of my kids when they were little going to see Harry Potter.
It was
And
foggy.
oh my God, we go to see Harry Potter. My son comes in. He says, Mom, it's really foggy outside because he went to the bathroom. I went out. I go, how am I going to drive in that? How am I going to see? So I told them, this is what I told my little kids. They're like, they were little kids, 10 and 6. I don't know, 7, 8. You better start praying because we're all going to die. they didn't laugh. They always tell me, my God, they didn't let me live that one down. Better start praying.
And they remembered it. Good on them for remembering.
Yeah, they did. I screwed them. I traumatized my children.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was terrible. I'll never forget it. I could not see a damn thing.
Yeah.
I cannot drive in the fog.
Before we hop out of here, Jenny, have you seen the Mist, Stephen King's The Mist, the movie?
Yeah, I did. I think
Yeah.
I did.
It better not be like that.
They turn into like vampires or something, or
Well, no, there's like monsters in the fog and all of that. Yeah.
Is it The Mist? Is it called The Mist?
The Mist by Stephen King. Yeah, it's probably a free movie somewhere, but
Yeah, I think. I'm not.
no, I'm not dealing with that. There was
I
like
don't need to do
spider
it.
things that were like 8 feet tall. Nah,
No, I don't like spiders, so I
Yeah,
won't
I'm
watch
out.
it. Okay, let's get out of here. I'm gonna go lay down with my
Absolutely.
baby.
All right. Yeah, Ian knows it is a great movie. Yeah, it is a great movie. I might rewatch that. But
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, it's like poisonous webs that the spiders shoot. It like cuts a guy's arm. Yeah, it's a mess. And then there's these things that you don't even see how tall they are. They're just walking around.
We need to watch.
Tentacles,
We need to
like-
watch something good, but there's nothing out there right now. I gotta wait for all the new
I know all of
shows.
our shows went on break, and it's a mess.
There's nothing left. There's nothing
There
to
isn't.
watch.
Nothing.
Prom is not till next year.
I know.
There's nothing.
A whole
There's
year
nothing to
off.
watch.
God damn.
Boring.
I know. Well, thank you everybody for sticking by and tuning in for Dave. That was a wonderful first half, and then us just shooting it like we always do, huh, Jenny? It's always a fun interactive time. But
Yep. Talk to you
next
later,
week, it
guys.
sounds like we have an animal or a psychic.
Yeah, pet medium or psychic.
That'll be great.
Yeah. Okay, everyone. Thanks for watching. You take care.
Have a good night, everyone.